So the other day I asked a few friends a really pressing question, and I want to share it with the rest of you guys. I asked them, I said, if you could be any insect in the world, what insect would you be? Their answers, they were interesting. In a few minutes I'll tell you what kind of insect I would want to be. One said that she wanted to be an ant. You know, big and strong and could lift like, wow, billions of times their weight. She wanted to be an ant because they worked together, they were coordinated, they planned ahead, they got ready for what was coming and all that. And I thought that's very wise. One person wanted to be a fly. They just wanted to be able to fly about here and there and just enjoy everything. Third person, he wanted to be a wasp. Yeah, because he have a stinger. Man, I can't remember all what we said about that, but we did find it interesting. He wanted to be able to buzz about, maybe pout people, you know, that kind of a thing. Fourth person had said they had two answers. One was a butterfly. Thought it's beautiful, just kind of, you know, floating around, making things beautiful. You know, I can't remember what the second answer of theirs was. Maybe they'll tell me down in the comments somewhere. But the insect that I personally would strive to be, achieve to be, I don't necessarily want to be that insect, but I would like for my life to be like this insect's life, and that is a firefly. Some of you may call them lightning bugs. That's what we called them when we were kids back, you know, out in the country, man. And they were, at night, they were just dancing and darting about the little lights. And it was just so cool to see them everywhere. And we would chase them around and gather them up and put them in a milk jug. And we'd stick holes in the milk jug, or either we'd stick holes in the top of the jar. So we'd have little lights. And I think Matt said he even put them on his teeth, you know, like his teeth would glow. And there were some other kind of crazy things that people did with that. I'm not going to go into there right now. But why would I want to be a lightning bug? Here's why. A couple of months ago, a friend of mine introduced me to an artist called Jason Gray. It's Gray. And Jason sang a song, and it is called Glow in the Dark. And in his song, he talks about the fact that Christians, that they were made to glow in the dark. He says that even in the darkest places, his love can make you radiate. He made you to glow in the dark. Now, this isn't the whole song. I'm going to put a link to the video down below, and so you can check out his song. It said the more broke you are, the more light gets through. He goes on to explain how that, man, life can deal you some hard times, and that you can choose to just go and hide, you know, or you can be out there and work through it and let him work through it. And in doing all of that, man, people can see his light, his love within you radiating out. And again, as I just said, the more cracks you have, the more light that gets through. I know sometimes we worry about our past and worry about how broken we may be. Don't worry about that. So as I begin to think about that, I begin to think, oh man, glow in the dark, that's pretty cool. And it led me to lightning bugs. So I got to looking up. So I want to learn something about lightning bugs. I'm familiar with them from my childhood and other years, but I wanted to find out more about them. And I found an interesting thing on Google. That there are certain places within the world where when lightning bugs come together, that they flash in unison. Made me think like Vegas or something like that. Viva Firefly. Anyway, so the lightning bugs are out there, and they flash in unison. A couple places. One is in Malaysia, where they do it more often. They flash in unison. And there's another place, and it's near Elkmont, Tennessee. A couple of people in our group are aware of that and have been aware of that. And it's that they flash in unison. Obviously, it takes place in the dark. And I was told it only takes place at certain times of the night. And again, certain times of the year. But they said it's beautiful to go and just to see all these lightning bugs. You know, just again, because remember, typically you'll see a lightning bug over here and one over there. You chase one back over this way and try to catch them and they're gone. That kind of a deal. To me, some of the most beautiful things to see them out over the swamp at night, you know, just out there rising up and going away. And it's almost kind of spooky sometimes. But as I thought about that, as I began to think about how that the lightning bugs, they come together and they flash in unison, it's beautiful. The same thing kind of takes place, at least for me, when I come together with fellow believers at places like Labav, or where I come together, maybe it's on a small group, or we come together for worship or a retreat, and things like that. But when a group of Christians, group of believers come together, and man, they're all serving or singing, worshiping in unison, and they're praising God. Man, it's just like this beautiful light. Everybody's flashing in unison, you know. It's just wonderful. It's great to see it. It's wonderful to be a part of. Just like Labav, man. If you were part of Labav for the weekend, man. For those of you who don't know what Labav is, it's a week-long retreat type setting for people, single adults and some married adults that were part of the group. Spiritual time to come together. But whenever you've had that, man, it may be at a camp or it may be at a Emmaus walk or something like that, and you just feel like, woo, man, it's like that. I thought about that. It's a good thing, man. I love the flashing in unison. But as I begin to think about how that, it's only over here and it's only over there, that people have to travel. If you want to go see them flash in unison, man, you've got to get on a plane and go to Malaysia, or you've got to get in a car, or you can fly, to the Great Smoky Mountains, and you got to go at a certain time, and you've got to go at a certain time of night so that you can see the fireflies flash in unison. And that's a great thing, but that means you've got to go there. You've got to take the time. You've got to go and be able to see that. The other thing is, out of that, though, reminded me of how God is with believers, is that often we come together, man, it's beautiful to see us flash in unison. But in God's plan, that's not the way we're to function all the time. He sends us back out into the darkness, into the darkest places there are. And we are those solitary fireflies that are out there, flying about in these dark swamps and these dark, sometimes scary places of life. And I know as a believer, there are times probably you think, man, why am I here? Why in the world is God? Why do I have to go back? Some of you are right in the middle of a dark place in life. It may be the job, the place you work. It may be a sickness you're dealing with. Man, it may just be spiritually, everything seems so dark. It may be the people you're around. It could be your family. Yeah, it could be your neighbors. It could be your church. But there's this like darkness, and you think, why am I here, God? Why in the world? And I think of that song, and I think about the fact that in Matthew chapter 5, verse 14, he says, we're a light to be set upon a hill. And a city that is upon a hill cannot be hid. We are the light of the world. And he says that a light that is lit, you do not put it up underneath a bushel. Remember the little song? This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine, put it under a bushel. No, the light is to be put up on a lampstand so that it shined light for others. And you think about it, if you've got a light on a lampstand, where are you going to put it? You're going to put it in the dark, right? You're going to put it in the dark so it can shine light and can enlighten the things around it. It's the same with us, man. It's that we are in places of darkness, and God allows us to go through places of darkness so that His light and work in us, His love, working in us, ministering to us, can shine out. And as we glow in the dark like little fireflies or lightning bugs, whichever you choose to call them, that people can see. And I'm amazed by those. I'm drawn to those. People are drawn to God. They want to know, what is that you have? What is that that's in you that is shining in the midst of all this darkness that's going on all around you? I just want to encourage you to not give up, to keep on keeping on, to hang in there, regardless of how dark it may be, regardless of how cracked you may feel, regardless of what your past may be. That you will keep on keeping on, continue to glow in the dark. Let God's love radiate. I'm Randy Palmer, and this has been a not so crazy talk about glowing in the dark. This devotion I did last week for some friends at an event, and they asked me to share it once more with them on video, and so I am doing this. David Miller, this one's for you. Also wanted to make it possible for those of you who regularly view Not So Crazy Talk videos to be able to see it and to share it with your friends. As before, I would love to hear any comments you have down in the comment section. I encourage you, if someone you know could benefit from this, to share it with them. And continue, if you would, follow me on the social media platform. God bless you. In the words of G Money, keep on keeping on. Till next time, glow in the dark, you little fireflies. Glow in the dark, you lightning bugs. Glow in the dark. Fill in the blank, okay? Don't sweep me under.